evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Chicago Communicator News Media On Point. And this evening, we're going to be talking about what's going on with this political rhetoric. I mean, there's so much political rhetoric going on with all of the politicians. They badmouth one another or show what this one is doing or not doing, and then they give you all these promises about what they're going to do. And when you look at them and their campaign 3 months after they've been in office, do you say, man, what happened to all those things she said they were going to do? That's the political rhetoric that I'm talking about. Most of our politicians appear to be responsive to those that give them money. If you're not contributing to their campaign, I guess you're at the end of the totem pole when it comes to whether they respond to your request. What say you, Gina?
You know what, Wanda, I'm just so tired of the rhetoric. I'm just so tired. They put us in a position that, okay, wow, finally somebody. Yeah. And as you said, by 3 months, they are now in the loop of the bureaucracy.
Yes. Now
they're in the loop of the bureaucracy that all of us know that that's going to happen. When does it happen that somebody's going to stand up for us? When is that?
Yes, I'm just learning, and that's sad that it's taken me all these years to really learn the process. And that is that we have to learn how to create legislation.
Absolutely.
So that we can change legislation that somebody else has put in place that has kept us in prison for all these years. I mean, it just don't make sense to me for when Anthony says that the senators and the state reps signed legislation. I think he calls it 508 section 5, that says that your property taxes don't go up every year. And they live in Illinois as well. So that means their property taxes are going to go up every year too. Why would you vote on that?
But their property taxes and everything is paid through us.
See? Oh, so that's why they would vote on it, because they're not paying their property taxes.
We pay everything for them. Yes, they're supposed to be, stewards of the community. And we pay for everything that they do.
That's so why they don't actually pay property taxes?
Don't quote me on it because I don't know about the legislation, but I would bet on my head almost, and I don't do that too often. They don't pay everything, That's why they're in the office. They get a beautiful salary.
Yeah.
And they don't do anything for us. But the rhetoric, they always
give us. Got to stop. That's got to stop, because we have to prepare our children, our young adults, to take the mantle. We're not going to be around forever. But so we need to make sure that our young folks are prepared so that 50 years from now, when they're the seniors, they're not in the same position we're in as seniors, because 50 years ago, they were still talking about what's going on today.
Exactly. So how do we get the young, they're more vocal now?
Yes.
A lot more vocal than, and I don't say we were, but you see more exposure. Let's put it like that. I can't.
Yeah.
We didn't have the exposure that they have today.
Yes.
And with that being said, we need to use those platforms.
Yes, we do.
Anytime we want to know something about the computer stuff, you say, I have to go ask my granddaughter, and in a minute I'm going to be asking my great-granddaughter. And
yes.
How do we get
so
them
true? So
true. Get them interested in legislation? How do we get them interested in?
Well, I think we have to start talking to them about how important it is, because our foreparents, they died to have this opportunity. People gave up great things, great measures in life to be able to vote. And so we have to help them to understand that that's where our power lies.
That's where our power lies.
That's where our power lies. And
And
we have
that's
to
and it's
use
only
it.
because that's the way the system has set it up
That's
that
the
way.
way they set it up. And until we get our own system, which might not
Right.
happen in this lifetime, we gotta learn how to use their system to get what we need.
Exactly. And that's the struggle because it seems as though that their system it doesn't pertain to us. You know
Yes,
what I'm saying? And that's
yes,
why,
yes,
unfortunately, we got to go through the navigation of the
yes,
system that it is.
absolutely.
We could take that the system that they have and tweak it to make us powerful. That's
See,
where I am.
we have to learn how to do that. I
Right.
don't know, and that's a lesson that today we have more people that look like me in politics than ever before.
Right. Women too.
But yet we're still in the
Bottom
submissive
of the
position
totem pole.
that we're at the bottom of the totem pole. Let me welcome Michael to the show. Welcome to the show, Michael. How are you? Michael? Okay, Michael might have stepped away. But I don't know. It's like we have so much of a gap between those that are in office and say they're going to do certain things for us and those that are in office and actually do something to help us reach our goals. I don't know. I mean, are we not? We need to get those folks to the polls, to the table before we go to the polls. We need to find out what it is you say you're gonna do so we can hold you accountable once you get in the office. We can come back 3-6 months later and say, this is what you said you were gonna do. Where are you at in that timeline? Where are you at?
And I think that's why so many of them can go ahead and put their names on the ballot because we know, they know, we're not going to hold them accountable.
Yeah, yeah.
And we've got to stop that narrative. We got
Yes.
to, and it takes hard work. It takes commitment. It's not something that happens overnight. You know,
That's right. Sure doesn't.
And I
Sure
think what happens is we get so tired.
We do.
That's why we need young folks because they don't get as tired as we do now.
Come on now. That's why Trips is gonna go and get some students from the local universities. And I'm gonna encourage all of our core partners to do the same so that we can start to let them help us build and maintain our businesses. I see you got your hand up, Dr. Jill. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I would like to say good evening to everyone. I know we were talking about our different legislators that we engage in, and many of us go to the polls and we vote for them based on the promises that they make. But my niece and I, and several of the young people that are in their 30s and early 40s, are now saying that they are not Democrats, and nor do they want to be Republicans and or independent. They want a whole new group because they found that the two parties, the major parties that we have extended ourselves to, many African Americans and Native Americans and Mexicans and the Latinos, many of us geared toward, not all of us, but many of us geared toward being Democrats. But we find out is that it's still not progressing us as a people.
Exactly.
If we don't go out and do something ourselves, it just don't get done.
That's
we
right.
find also, as far as legislation, as that many of our rich counterparts or people of standing, they hire lobbyists who go out and they lobby to change laws that benefit them.
That's right.
So if we don't get out there and lobby, which costs money, and many of us don't have it,
yes,
the laws don't change when it comes to our interest.
And that is the problem because see, nobody ever taught us how to legislate
Yes. Right.
our desires, what we need in our community. We don't know the process.
Right.
So when you don't know the process, by the time you see the erection of some new building, some new structure, some new program, you like, well, where did that come
Where did
from?
that come from?
That was
Yes.
legislated 50 years ago.
Yes. Yes.
You just seeing the manifestation of it.
Right. Right.
But I want to be at the table when the planning is going on.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
I
And
want
many
to
of
be
us
at
are
the
not
table
there.
then. Yeah.
We're not. That's why you get laws here in Texas that says if you are standing in line to vote and somebody bring you water, you going to jail.
What?
You know.
Oh, yeah. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah. You got also now we have lobbyists, we have young and old people out there that's fighting against that with the governor. That's wrong.
Yes.
We have a lot of laws on the books that are wrong.
Yes.
And they were wrong and they were permitted to be on the law because we were not at the table.
So that's why when the president came to Chicago last week, we were asking or putting together questions that we want to send to him to ask him about things that are going on locally that he may have some influence over.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
so the Supreme Court is supposed to interpret the law, but not change the law. So Levette was telling me that something about they said they wanted to take the United out of the United States of America so that each state could then have the power to do whatever they wanted to do.
It's a mess. It's going back.
I was like, what?
Yeah, but that happened before. Remember during the time of the Civil War, it was two different countries.
Girl, oh.
And then in order to unite the United States again, the agreement was they would give the slave owners monies to help them to regroup. And you know they didn't give us nothing. We still didn't get the 4 acres and the mule. To help them to the Confederate, we had the Confederate flag and we had the United States flag. So that has happened before, and that's what they tried to do January 6th.
See there, but they still saying they ain't do nothing. Trump say he didn't do nothing. He's innocent. He didn't do nothing.
Paid for none of that.
But if those folks that broke into that property had been people that look like me,
come on, somebody,
we'd be in prayer because they'd all be dead.
You got that right. What about the one that the guy that just killed those 13 people? Was that in Baltimore?
Oh, that's in
New York.
New York. That's a scary situation, isn't it?
And guess what?
A scary situation.
And they took him out in peace.
See that? Look. And probably gave him some coffee along the way.
Yes.
It's just sad the way they can just mow us down. This is 2022.
This is a hard country to live in for people.
And you still can be taken out just because you walking while black.
And then you got to prove why they killed you. Somebody got to prove it for you that they were wrong. And then they'll investigate themselves. And they'll come back and says, we don't see nothing we did wrong.
Woo! What say you, Tax Doctor?
Well, last night was a good night and a bad night because the white boy that was in the wheelchair got defeated. No, he was on the podium giving his rah-rah to the big lie. Well, thank God some of them white Republicans in that's in North Carolina where he came from.
Okay.
Some of them white Republicans got some damn sense because they didn't elect him back to office.
All right.
Now we got to see if the Republicans in Georgia is going to do Mary Jo Green like that. Now, right now, the voters are suing her because she violated the Constitution. And
How so? How did she violate?
She was insurrectionist,
Oh,
and under the Constitution, you cannot be an insurrectionist and run for public office.
okay, okay.
And the damn white judge down there slapped her on the wrist.
Well, wait a minute. Well, then that means that Trump can't come back because he was an insurrectionist.
Absolutely.
So we ain't got to worry about him coming back because he can't come back.
I mean, I agree what you're saying, but you still gotta be worried because some of these, I did my show today.
Okay.
And I talked about the white women. Excuse me.
Okay. What about
the white women?
Okay.
I said, it's because you white women that some of this shit is still going on.
Absolutely.
Because you guys, your husbands, your brothers are fostering this big lie. But see, y'all benefit from them too. Okay? And the point is, you guys need to wake up and realize there was time as a white woman you couldn't vote. And that's what your husband did to you. That's what your brother did to you. And so now you're going to turn around and kick other nationalities in the butt because your husband and your brother and your son are racist and they want power? Hell no.
They've been racist. Look, that young boy, the behavior he displayed, killing all those Black people, his training came from his home.
Yes. Yes.
That's learned behavior.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Now.
And so what were they teaching him? And it really doesn't matter because now his life has changed. Now he's got to deal with the repercussions of his actions.
But you know what? If he gets a good lawyer, he can possibly get a slap on the wrist. You know what I'm saying?
Then we ought to come up in uproar. I ain't gonna say we need to tear up the city. I'm not promoting anything, but we ought to take it to the highest court in the nation because that would not be right.
You know what? They would have to be careful with that. The politicians, the same way with Dylan.
Yeah.
When you got all Black people and saying it's racist, and you know that you need our votes, that's not going to happen.
Right.
But that's it. Vote. That's what we have to get our culture to know how powerful voting is.
Yes, absolutely.
You're absolutely correct. If we don't get our culture out there to vote, we're gonna always be in this situation.
Yes.
And there are so many people still out here who are not even registered to vote.
Yeah.
Have the same old attitude, like we still in the same situation. Well, what good is my vote? We've got to change that narrative. I just want to ask you a question, Wanda. The young people that you were talking about saying in their 30s, they would like to install they don't want to be Democrats, they don't want to be Republicans. They feel that they should have a separate entity. So how did that conversation go? Because that sounds like the magnificent idea.
I don't know, was that you, Dr. Jackson, that was talking about the...
Yes, but that's been going around now for years. That many of the young people do not want to be identified, as they said, as their parents. They don't want to be identified as Republicans, or they don't want to be identified as Democrats. Well, they came up with independent. That's not working for them. So now they have been saying that they want a new party.
Right.
That has been floating around in Congress.
I would like that to be really something that's a discussion, not only floating around, but it's something that make him to come to fruition. That sounds like the most magnificent ideal since.
But see, that's what you get in a parliament style system where you can have multitudes of parties. You can probably get that here too if we make it easy to have more than one party.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think about it, the Hispanics, in one sense, have their own party.
Yeah.
Okay, because they
Yes,
vote.
they do.
They vote with what party going to give them the most bang for their vote.
That's right. They do.
And they don't mind. And see, Willie Wilson was at Malcolm X College a couple of years ago, and they had some Hispanics over there. And the Hispanics stood up and told them, "We don't need black folks." He said, "We don't need y'all." And what did Willie Wilson do? Not a damn thing. And when you hear this whole issue of a black and brown coalition,
It drives me crazy.
there is no black and brown coalition.
Mm.
Okay. And I was listening to hold on a second. My grandbaby.
All right, so he got to respond to his grandbaby. I know how that is.
I know how that is.
My grandbaby's at home tonight. That's the only reason I ain't got to respond to him.
Yeah, that was my grandbaby. I said, I have to hit you back.
All
Now,
right.
I found out that now that you got a Hispanic running the circuit court that Dorothy Brown used to be over, they got 400 positions that they have to fill.
400?
400, yes.
How did that come about?
Well, when about 2 years ago, the president of the county, Pretwinkle, had all of those heads, the slash state departments, by 10% or better. And that took in the circuit court, the assessor's office as well. And really they need those bodies in those key positions. But what's going to be interesting that we need to track and see how many black folks get into that 400 positions. Well, there's 200, half and half, or based on the percentage of black folks in Chicago or Cook County.
And so do we know how many black people are in Cook County?
There is a figure. We can find that out. That's no problem.
I sure would like to know. I'd like to know because I want to see how this gonna roll out.
Yeah.
Okay, so now sometimes I think that's where we have our issue. We gonna see. How come we not there at the table to make sure?
I agree with you.
I agree with you,
So
Gina.
I agree.
But
where's our so-called black politicians?
You know,
Where's our county commissioners?
You know what? I don't think we know how much power that we have as black voters. And I think sometimes we say that we know, but we don't. That's why Trump started reaching out to black voters. They said in historical records, because they know that the black voters, 91% of all black voters will vote. That's a high number, higher than most that I know of, 91%. And that's not only that's in the Roper Center Public Opinion Research, that's also in Gallup, that was also in Newsweek. They were showing statistic of black voters. Trump, he promised so much that he would do for black voters. He said he did more for black voters than Abraham Lincoln.
But
and
did
you all
he?
heard him say that. Yes, he did.
That's the biggest lie ever told.
That's what he said. Now, Barack Obama.
What is it he's supposed to be done did for us?
He freed us.
Maybe he allowed us to buy some shoes. I don't know. So it says with the Pew Research, the PEW research, and I think you all remember they always have their stuff. They said that's what hurt Hillary Clinton because she was so certain that Black voters would vote for her because they voted for Obama. But that's not what happened. She only got 67%, I believe. Now, you all have to look this up. And that's not what Obama did. Obama got 92%, very high number, and that brought him in.
Yes.
So then you look at even Biden. Biden had said to the Black voters, he said, I owe you. Do you all remember that?
Yep.
Yes, I do. I remember that.
Because we came out and we voted. So many times when legislation is being put on the table, we shouldn't wait to be invited. You go.
Right.
They say they have to publicize. It's in the newspaper. Go. And if they don't allow you to sit at the table, that's when you make a stink. That's when you call your newspapers that says we were supposed to be here and we cannot. We don't remember Martin Luther King. They didn't invite them at the table. They went, put them in jail, and guess what? The newspapers came out.
Yeah.
We always waiting for an invitation. You're not gonna get an invitation.
You're not gonna get an invitation. True. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And that's where we have to know that and apply that and do that.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we have to understand. They're never going to invite us. They never invited us to anything else. The only way we've gotten anything, we bogarted and got it ourselves, basically. That's how we've gotten it. And it's no different now than it was way back in 100 years ago, 400 years ago. If we didn't fight for it, it wasn't going to happen.
That's true.
And I think we've lost that courage because it takes courage to do that, as opposed to just sitting back and just waiting and seeing. Because that's why we don't get invited. That's why we're not at the table. I should say invited. That's why we're not in. We're always waiting and seeing. What we gonna wait and see?
Yeah, wait and see. There's nothing to wait and see. Only time we got a free ride, there's two of them. And there's one when they brought us over here from Africa to work us to death. And the second one is when they send our boys and girls to war.
That's right. That's right.
That's the only free ride that I know they
kill them off and kill them off.
Absolutely. And they put our black guys right up front.
Oh yeah.
Because they feel like we're indispensable. That's their attitude. We're indispensable.
You're not important.
And you're not important. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, you're more of a liability than an asset. Mm-hmm. That's what they think of us. That's what they think of us. And until we change that narrative, we're gonna always be waiting and seeing.
Wait to see. Wait to see. We've already seen. Ain't nothing to wait for now. It's now to go ahead and take the action. We
already know. Exactly. So Michael, is this Michael Barnes? Welcome to the show, sir. We haven't heard anything from you. You're muted.
Greetings, sisters and family. How y'all doing?
How you doing?
I'm not doing